Hi, good morning. Welcome again to another Thursday Thoughts. Hope all is well with you and that you're managing to stay safe and perhaps enjoying a little bit more freedom now than you had a week or two ago. The weather's nice here. It's quite pleasant. Sitting outside, a little bit chilly actually. Got my cup of coffee. I even got a banana this morning. Being healthy. Too many Easter eggs over the last few weeks. Hope you're sitting comfortably. And we'll just spend a minute or two thinking about one or two things together. Well, I think we've all been saddened this week by the announcement of the death of Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh. Along with the Queen, he's been ever-present in most of our lives, really. It's not a surprise that he's passed away this week. He was over 100, and the recent photographs of him, he was looking quite frail. But it is a sobering reminder to all of us that whoever we are, rich or poor, famous or obscure, whatever we do, whatever walk of life, it is coming to all of us in the end. It's the fate of everyone. And there's been wall-to-wall coverage, hasn't there, of this event. There have been apparently 100,000 complaints to the BBC. I'm not really sure quite why. Probably because Pointless got moved to BBC Two or something, I guess. We all know him and love him in a way for his ability to put his foot in his mouth, but much has been made of his selfless service to the Queen and to our country. Much has been made of his charity work and of the Duke of Edinburgh Awards scheme, and many of us have known something to do with that. Much has been made of his faith. But much has been made of the fact that he was a spiritual man, someone who was interested in the things of faith. And actually, the former Bishop of York, I saw him on the news the other day saying that he was a man of robust faith. I'm not really sure what that means, but let's ask ourselves for a second, what is faith? Many people would give many different answers to what faith is. The Bible gives us one definition. It gives us many examples of faith and people who lived by faith. But it gives us one definition. We find that in Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1. And it says this: "Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen." Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Someone's coined that belief without evidence. Now, it's not belief completely without evidence, because there are many things about faith that you can examine. You can look at the evidence for. We've touched on some of them in the series that we've done in church recently about questions that people ask. The evidence for creation, the evidence for the resurrection. There's much about the Christian faith that you can reason out that it's a reasonable thing to believe in. But at the same time, there are some things that go beyond that, and we have to take on faith. We trust, knowing God and knowing what God has told us, we trust them and we have faith in them. Now that verse comes just before the rest of Hebrews chapter 11. That's chapter 11 verse 1. So there's a long chapter then of examples of people who lived by faith in the Old Testament. There's Abraham and Moses and Abel and many others who lived their lives by faith, who were a testament that faith works, that faith gave them something. The Bible makes it clear that really at the end of the day there are only two sorts of people in the world. There are those who do have faith and those who don't. But what is the Christian faith? The Christian faith is a belief that God exists and that God created the world. It's a belief that humanity rebelled against God and now lives in exile from him, if you like, in separation from him. It's a belief that in order to bring us back to himself, God sent his son, Jesus, into the world, that he might live among us, that he might live a perfect life among us, and that he might die a cruel death for us. We've just been celebrating that at Easter, haven't we? More than that he rose again on the third day, and that he lives forever, that we might live forever with God. It's a sort of faith that gives us a hope that death, which is coming to all of us, isn't the end. It's the sort of faith that enables us to live a life that is pleasing to God, live a life of self-sacrifice, live a life of service, live a life of humility, and live a life of peace. Well, I just throw the question out there to you this morning. Do you have faith? Do you have faith in adversity? Do you have faith that will carry beyond death? And if you do have faith, what sort of faith is it? Is it a faith that you've dreamed up, or is it a faith that's based on what the Bible tells us? Well, I wish you a good week, a happy week. We'll see Prince Philip's funeral televised, I guess, on the weekend. But take care of yourselves, look after yourselves, and look forward to seeing you again in the near future. I'm going to enjoy my banana now. See you soon.